Happy is he whose children are males, and woe to him whose children are females. A quote from rabbis of old. But if you look close, you know this sentiment isn't frozen in the past. In fact, I see it. An expecting father bows his head in defeat at the sight of pink confetti. A rape victim is shamed for ruining the reputation of an otherwise stand-up guy. A woman works for half the price a man would achieve. The words feminist and liberal are wielded as weapons against those who dare speak of misogyny in the church. It makes me wonder, what's a woman worth? Look for it in lyrics and sermons and thought, she's a vice, a vixen, a problem to solve. So I dug deeper, sought the song first sung, the very first words straight out of Adam's tongue. This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. The first song in scripture proclaims a woman's worth. She's same of same, fully human, made in God's image, but it's likely you already knew this. No need to tell you that while the first sin was eating forbidden fruit, the second was a woman's abuse. From the balladier's tongue would come an excuse, accusing the woman he once sung of, the woman whom you gave to be with me. She gave me fruit of the tree, and I ate. Generations later still rings the same refrain. Well, if she hadn't warned that, if she hadn't talked back, if she dare speak or lead, but we don't want to talk about that. See, we see redemptive history as a series of men and the ways God used them. But the first gospel proclamation requires us to watch the woman, through whom would come the serpent-crushing seed. So Satan's special hatred is reserved for women, with which he's at enmity. But is a woman's worth unorthodox to God? Ask Eve, who believed Genesis 3:15. Trace her faith through a long line of ladies leading straight to Mary's Magnificat, the first hymn of the new covenant people of God. Ask the women who followed the Christ, the marginalized and stigmatized, the barren and bereaved, the mistreated and abused. They drew near to the Son of Man who would choose to wash feet with all that authority. It seems they finally found one who was despised and rejected by men, acquainted with grief, like them. When he rose from the dead, he spoke first to the women, commissioned them to tell the men the good news, but they were shooed away, like today, unworthy of proclaiming God's word to the ears of men, which apparently couldn't possibly learn from them, except that's not how Jesus saw it. It's not how Paul taught it. The Great Commission made every type of woman, acclaimed or not, a herald of the gospel, mom or not, a mother of many disciples, wife or not, the bride of Christ, all in all, a worthy child of God. What's a woman worth then? No less than his life, his death, his resurrection.